Yo YouTube, what is going on? Jejo here, bringing you another MLB The Show video, and this time is gonna be episode 9, I believe. Letter I. We're going to the letter I of our MLB The Show 20s ABCs. As you know, we're going through the entire alphabet. We start with the letter A, B, C. We're all the way up to the letter I already, and this time we're gonna be talking about pitching. Just improve your pitching in general. We're going to talk about how to approach different scenarios, what cameras to use. So we go about the settings, and hopefully you can learn a thing or two about pitching. Obviously, improved pitching is going to be the name of the title, because I mean, pitching tips, it's just, I mean, the letter P is just too far away. I don't want you guys to wait for this video. I know you guys have been asking a lot of for this, so it's here. Improved pitching, aka pitching tips. Now, before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you enjoy the content, hit that thumbs up. That's the best way to show your support and help the channel grow. We're on a road to 1K. We can get to 1K by the end of the month. That will be great. Make sure the notifications are also on. That way you do not miss another upload. And yeah, let's get started with pitching. Now, one thing you have to understand is that pitching is probably the toughest thing to do in the game, because of it's not the best when it comes to user input. There's a lot of pitches that are gonna hang. There's perfect on the offensive side of things. So the ERAs this year are a lot higher than what it was last year. Keep that in mind. You will not be perfect. You will not be throwing shutouts every game. You will not be striking out 20 guys every game, especially with the higher vision guys, the higher contact guys. It's just not going to happen. And your opponents are, there's a lot of good players out there. So keep that in mind. Just, you want to be effective and you want to just win the game. At the end of the game, you just want to win the game. But hopefully, one of these tips help you out to becoming a better pitcher. Now, here in the settings, we're going to start with the settings. Pitching difficulty, that really doesn't matter. We are going to be doing it in custom practice, so we'll get to that. But pitching interface, there's different options: pulse, meter, classic. The best way to do it, honestly, is still pure analog. I understand a lot of people don't use pure analog. They just haven't had the time to practice it, or they just don't like it. It's a lot better. It's the best way to control your pitches. It's mostly up to you. With the meter, it's more about the timing. Same with the pulse pitching. There's not that perfect release with the pulse pitching. And classic, I don't even know what it is. Not even gonna lie. So pure analog is the best way to do it. I will tell you what I think when we do the practice there. But it's gonna take time to practice. If you haven't done it, make sure to practice. Go to Conquest. That's the way I did it. I was a meter pitcher. I switched to analog a couple years ago, jump into some Conquest game and practice against the computer while grinding the game, and that was the best way to improve. Make sure to practice. You will like it a lot more once you start getting the hang of it. Now, this one doesn't really matter. Pitching view. This is gonna be the first, I guess, the first tip when it comes to the pitching. There's obviously a bunch of cameras. I'm currently using the Show 16, which you'll see is kind of like behind the plate. It's not as close as strike zone. A lot of people like to use the strike zone because they hit with strike zone, and it's kind of like you see more repetitive pitches. You get your brain is just more trained to see those pitches, right? So, but we do have the Show 16. That's better for me. It's been better. I can see the runners if they go as well, if I'm not paying a whole lot of attention to the game. Another pitching view that I really like is from behind the pitcher. And if we go all the way here to pitcher, there's obviously different angles that you're going to be seeing. Pitcher, pitcher wide, pitcher zoom, pitcher center, pitcher outfield, all of them, even outfield, it's a little bit further out. But I do like pitcher. Pitcher is kind of close enough where you can see it. Regardless, if you're pitching, if you're using pure analog, you're going to have to locate with them. If not, it doesn't really matter what camera angle you're using. So you got to get better at the timing and the precision of the right stick. Now, with the pitching ball marker, there's pitching trail and classic. Honestly, this is up to your own preference. I'm using pitching trail now. I've sometimes switched back to classic. Classic has those arrows that tell you where the ball is breaking and how much is breaking depending on the arrows. If you get confused by that, just go ahead and get on pitch trail. Pitch trail is going to tell you where the ball is going to land. So keep that in mind. Everything else, we're just gonna leave it there, and let's jump right into our custom practice. Now, the good thing about the custom practice here, obviously the same thing as hitting, you can create your own play. We're obviously gonna leave it at pitching. Once we get to a couple of different scenarios, we may put some runners in and out. But we have different pitchers: Babe Ruth, Walter Johnson, Cy Young, Gibson. It really doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and use fingers. A lot of people already have these Raleigh fingers in their pen. He's one of the best pitchers and easy to control. He has that sinker, slider, fork. So we'll go ahead and use him. So when you're using this camera, your right thumb, you got to keep in mind that your right thumb is going to be kind of like automatic going to the right. It's just nature, right? It's easier to go to the right when you're going up than going to the left. So for example, if I want to throw this slider and I want to make sure that it's outside, it's going to be a little bit easier. What a hit. It's going to be a little bit easier to locate that pitch on the outside. Now, it's going to be a little bit tougher. You're going to have to focus more on the location going up if you want to throw this ball inside. One thing that you can do, and you can try whichever you feel more comfortable. If you go to the cameras, and here we go. So if you go to the cameras, we'll go back to the pitching that we were talking about, right? Here, it's going to be easier for you to locate to the outside on this side, and a little bit tougher for the inside pitches. So for example, this sinker in, it's a little bit tougher to get it all the way, although that was a beautiful dot, but I was focused on getting that right stick inside. So it's a little bit tougher. Make sure to find which camera works better for you. For me, personally, behind the catcher for righties is better, and for lefties, I like this camera angle better because it's gonna break outside of the lefties and inside into the righties. So with the righty, behind the catcher; with the lefty, behind the pitcher. Again, either way, whatever works for you, go with that. But if you think about it, the right thumb is going to go to the right. Same with the pitchers. If you're a lefty, right here is going to go. That's exactly what you want. You want to pitch kind of like outside, going away from the power zone from this lefties and inside into the righties. We're going to leave this camera, and then we're going to talk about different deliveries. All right. Every pitcher has a different delivery. Some are fast, some are slow. You got to get that timing done. So we know that these Raleigh fingers, it's a little bit faster, especially from the stretch, right? So keep that in mind. The most important thing right here is that you want this right analog to hit that yellow meter. That's the most important thing, because that is the timer. That is the timing that you want. Here you go. That's the timing part that you want. The location is going to be secondary as far as left and right. But if you don't have that timing, you're going to leave a lot of pitchers hanging. Now, one quick tip that not everybody knows or is aware, but for example, I'm going to try to just throw it right down the middle. I want to throw the ball higher. Like if your timing is higher than the yellow bar, the pitch is going to go a little bit higher. So for example, that was perfect. Never mind. Let's try it again. I'm throwing the sinker. I want to be early, right? So that's early. The ball is going to be a little bit higher. So for example, if you want to throw a fork ball in the dirt, you want to either have a good timing or be a little late to make sure that it's going to be in the dirt. So keep that in mind. He's stealing on us. Get out of here, Ricky. So keep that in mind. If you want to make sure that the ball is in the dirt, be a little late. If you want to make sure that the ball is high, so for example, a lot of you guys like to throw that high and in fastball. You want to make sure it's a little bit high, so be early on the timing, and it's going to be a little bit higher instead of lower in the zone. That's another strikeout. We're dotting with Raleigh right now. Another tip, keep in mind, every single time you have to keep in mind of the energy. Look at the energy, look at your pitcher's confidence, and look at the amount of pitches that he has thrown in the game. Stamina wise, like for example, Raleigh fingers is obviously not a long, he's not a starter, he's not a long reliever. So you know, probably around 20-30 pitches, he's already going to be in the yellow. Unless he's dealing, go ahead and take him out. There's no need to push him, because he's going to start leaving pitches down the middle, and they are just going to get destroyed. So keep that in mind. Same thing for every pitcher. For example, one thing I've said before with that Bruce and Gratterall, you missed our previous video when we were talking about the future stars. Gratterall is very good. First of all, if you can control him, and second of all, very good for about 4 or 5 innings. After 70 or 80 pitches, he starts getting tired. The sinker starts getting flat. Your opponent starts reading it better. So it starts getting a little bit tougher. Now, Raleigh fingers, I saw what's going back to the same with the thumb to the left or to the right. Raleigh fingers is a sinker baller, right? So it's going to be easier for me to throw this sinker. That's a very effective pitch, righty on righty sinker. So it's gonna be easier. You want to make sure you jam him, so you got to throw it inside. You want to kind of like force yourself to make sure you get that ball inside. Now let's go into a little bit of a situation. Let's go ahead and put, you know, one out, and we have runner on first. We're looking for a double play right here. That's exactly what we want. Obviously they have 96 speed. He wants to steal, but we're looking for the double play. So a lot of the times, keep in mind that you're playing humans. You're playing guys that they know you want that double play. Sometimes the best pitch is to start with that high fastball, because they'll be looking down in the zone expecting that double play pitch. But you got to keep your opponent guessing. Then you can go maybe for that 4-ball down, for that double play pitch. So keep them guessing. A lot of the times they're expecting the high fastballs, they're expecting certain pitches. So one thing is to not be afraid of throwing pitches that most people don't throw, right? So you know everybody's throwing that fastball in. Hey, throw a fastball low and in. Why is he stealing every time? Anyways, throw a fastball low and in. They're not gonna, it's the unexpected pitches, right? A lot of times you see the sliders. Righty on lefty, the slider's gonna go here. Hey, throw it maybe middle, throw it a little bit high. Now you gotta make sure that you don't miss it. Like that. You rather throw it a ball than leave it down the middle. Here, 0-2. All right, I want a fork ball in the dirt. We go back to the timing. I want to be a little bit late to make sure that ball is down in the zone instead of hanging. Keep that in mind when it comes to the timing. Let's see if we can get this guy out. Sinker up and away. Not everybody throws that pitch. Beautiful take. And we'll give him, like, you got to change eye levels. Try to get your opponent guessing all the time. Obviously we're playing the computer right now, it's not the same, but try to keep them guessing. Sometimes we gave him the slider. Hey, let's give him another one. Sometimes they don't expect the same pitches back to back. They're expecting for the fastball. Let's say you give it to them, they may be a little surprised, they may be expecting it. Read your opponent. One of the first things that you want to do is read your opponent and their tendencies. Are they seeing fastball? I know right there, if he was a human being, I know he was waiting on that fastball. So I may be like, let me give him an off speed and see how he reacts to it. Or you know what? I'm just going to give him another hard stuff because he may be thinking that I'm going with the off speed. We'll give him the hard stuff. He's a little late on that and he swings by it. So obviously computer again, but you can try this against people because it works. Don't fall into your same routine. Don't throw the same pitches under the same count. So, like, don't throw every time a first pitch fastball. Good players will be able to read your tendencies and capitalize on it. Don't throw the same slider low and away every time I'm 0-2 because they're going to be expecting it. They're going to be able to wait for it or take it for a ball or just react to it and just drive it. There's a lot of different things that comes when it comes to pitching that you have to keep in mind. You know, don't be repetitive. Mix pitches, mix locations. Like, yeah, we threw that slider. We can throw the slider a little bit higher. They can roll one over very easily. It's not a pitch that they see every time. So keep them guessing at all times. Trying to keep them on their heels. Now let's go ahead and switch the pitcher. Let's see if we have a lefty. Well, Babe Ruth is the only lefty. All right, we'll go with the lefty. He has a two fastballs, change on a curve, so it's not ideal, but this is exactly what we're talking about. So he's a lefty. I want to kind of like, it's gonna be tougher to throw that fastball in, right? Because you have to force yourself to throw it in. So exactly like that, try to force yourself. You got to see it, the right stick as a clock. So, and this is something that a lot of people do. You obviously want to get the ball down on the yellow zone, but when you bring it down, when you bring it up, you want to get that ball inside of the red arrow, red circle, right? So if it's a little bit to the right, when I get that right stick down, I try to move it a little bit to the left so I can create that angle going into the right. Let's see if we can do it. Exactly like that. That's exactly what we wanted. Perfect feedback, perfect location. Obviously, Babe Ruth, not the best CPU, but if you want it inside, so we want the fastball inside, right stick is gonna go towards the right side and then push left to make sure we can get it inside. And that's exactly where we got it. We got it for a strike. If it's down the middle, even sometimes down the middle can be the toughest part. Straight down, straight up, it can be tough because of the control. Like obviously it's going to third. Anyways, we're not here for that. The control of the pitchers is gonna matter. Obviously, pitchers that have better control, you're gonna be able to dot with those pitchers better than pitchers like Bob Feller, Nolan Ryan. That control is not their forte. Now let's go into a different situation, and let's go to just be 0-2. So we're ahead, no outs, no runners on base. That doesn't really matter. So let's say we're 0-2. At this point, you're obviously trying to read your opponent. You see in their tendencies. You don't have to give them a strike right here. You don't have to attack the zone. Let's see if they're chasing. Obviously, you want to pitch. You want to throw a competitive pitch, but you don't want to throw something that you're going to get hurt, especially on an 0-2 pitch. You do not want that. That was a decent pitch. We didn't get it inside enough like we wanted, but 0-2, it's on you. The pressure's on the hitter at this point. So change up in the dirt. Let's see if he gets chasing. Let's see if he gets on top of that. Maybe he's waiting for the hitter. Good location. That's fine. I'm fine with that because I'm still ahead 1-2. Again, when it comes to pitching, keep in mind that at times the hitter is just going to hit dots for home runs. Like, it's going to happen. Sometimes you're going to have very late jam base hits. Just don't get discouraged by those hits. Try to stay focused on what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to do, to make sure you have the pitches that you want. Make sure to execute the pitches that you want, and don't be repetitive. Again, don't be repetitive. Try to mix things up. You want to keep your opponent off balance. You want to keep them guessing, because if they're guessing, if they don't know what's coming, you're obviously winning. Now, again, there are some of the pitching tips that I wanted to go over. I'm sure I missed a couple. If you want to see some more of this, let me know down on the comment section below. If some of these things work for you, let me know also in the comment section below. I mean, keep practicing. Analog is the way to go. Try to go above and beyond when you're moving the right stick from left to right. Try that. It may work for you. It has worked for me in the past. Sometimes I kind of like forget to do it. I'm doing all the other things while on stream, where we stream 4 times a week on Twitch. Make sure to check us out Tuesdays, Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern time, and Saturdays and Sundays are around 9 a.m. Make sure to check us out there. But you got to stay focused. You got to stay locked in pitching, just as you would with hitting. I hope it helped you out somehow. This was episode 9, letter I, of our MLB The Show 20 ABCs. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Make sure the notifications are on. That way you do not miss another upload. And yeah, I hope this pitching tips video, you were able to learn something from this pitching tips video. If you did, let me know. Smash that thumbs up. Again, this is Jayo. I'll check you out on the next one. I'm out.